Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to another podcast. On today's show, I want to talk about the challenge that dealers have differentiating between all the claims made by digital agency partners. It's not uncommon for a dealer to receive multiple phone calls a month, even per week, from companies trying to sell them paid search or social media advertising, SEO, or some type of inventory merchandising tool. And when the dealer receives maybe a PDF, a case study, or even an external report, it's not uncommon that the message that's being communicated through these documents is that this is the absolute best agency possible, maybe the number one automotive advertising agency. And what I've learned over the years is that there's no perfect agency. An agency is required to step up and meet the needs of the dealer, but the needs of the dealer isn't a consistent thing. There are some dealers that sign up for digital marketing packages and they never really have any interest in inspecting or holding the agency accountable. They don't really understand it, so they just spend because it's co-opable or spend because they think they should, but really their needs are relatively low. Then there's other groups, especially in larger dealer groups, that expect the agency to deliver a dedicated account manager. And then one of the problems with that is, turnover in the automotive industry is well known, but turnover at automotive agencies is equally as high because, a lot of young people come into marketing, they cut their teeth in automotive, and then they get big raises and go to other industries. It's not uncommon for a dealer to say, I really liked this agency when I had Beth as my account manager, but as soon as Beth left, service went downhill and I moved. A few years ago, I asked dealers how often do they change their Google Ads agency, and the average was about 18 months. Every 18 months, a dealer is trying someone else because the agency that they're using, didn't meet their expectations or maybe didn't meet the expectations based on their marketing claims. So how can dealers really cut through and understand what's working, what's not working? Dealers really don't have any way to audit whether the agency's artificial intelligence tools are working. Dealers don't have the ability to audit custom audiences or anonymous shopper networks that agencies claim to have access to. So what is some practical advice for dealership managers, dealer principals, marketing managers to help them navigate through choosing their next agency? So number one, keep in mind that when you ask for referrals, most agencies are pretty smart. They're going to send you a list of their best customers that, for whatever reason, will always say that the agency is doing a great job. So asking for referrals isn't a reliable way to understand if a specific agency is going to work for you. Where can you get some maybe unbiased opinions? Check with your 20 group. Ask if your peers have used this agency before. And remember, agencies have, inconsistent performance. They could be doing great for one dealer in your 20 group and, maybe not so great for another member of the same 20 group. Doesn't mean that the agency is bad. It could be a cultural misfit. So start with your 20 group. Second, forums like dealerrefresh.com allow you to ask questions that can be answered by members of the automotive community and dealers. Now, there's a number of vendors on Dealer Refresh. So if you ask about a competitor, be careful that you look at who's replying. Obviously, it's not uncommon for agencies to attack each other online. So Dealer Refresh is one of those unique forums where you could ask dealers to respond about their specific experience with a particular vendor. One of the things that I ask any vendor who's trying to sell digital services to dealers is what are your performance metrics? Meaning, if the agency says, well, my report shows spend and clicks and cost per click and click-through rate and time on site and number of pages viewed and the number of leads, that's really a generic standard report that has very little actionable data for any dealership manager. You should be asking the agency what quality metrics are included in your advertising reports. Are you tagging at my website to track engagement? And when I talk about engagement, I'm talking about, did they look at photos? Did they click on the trade-in button? Did they click on the payment calculator? Did they download Carfax? These are all Google Analytics events that can be programmed to help a dealer and agency understand if the audience, the targeting, the geography that they're selecting for their ad campaigns is really bringing engaged shoppers. So if the agency is using generic Google Ads reporting metrics and not adding any quality metrics, traffic quality metrics into the value proposition, I would say keep on looking. You see, dealers have too many reports as is. They have so many reports that I've calculated that a dealer who really want to inspect all aspects of their online presence and sales strategy would need to look at 25 reports per month, per store. So dealers need a quick way to inspect whether their marketing campaigns are bringing engaged shoppers. And counting leads is obviously important, but certainly not the ideal way to inspect marketing investments. You should be looking and grading 100% of all the clicks that you're paying for coming to your website. And you should be able to inspect what the people are doing on your website because they all will not convert into leads. So your agency selection should be based on the agency's ability to not only create campaigns and automate them, but are they measuring the quality of traffic, the shopping engagement, the shopping actions on your website? If they're not doing that, I'm going to tell you, any agency can do that. Any agency can run Google Ads, but if they're not using the actions on the dealer's website, if they're not testing landing page choices based on engagement, it'll be very difficult for dealers to get better. So that's why I always ask prospective agencies, what does your monthly report look like? Ask them to send you a copy of a dealer's report. They can anonymize it. If you only see campaign costs, clicks, click-through rate, time on site, number of page views, and leads, that's the standard Google advertising playbook that really does not give dealers the insights they need. Are they showing where the click's coming from? That's important. Are they showing what people are doing on the website? The engagement scoring. If they're not doing that, well, then you're just praying that the moral compass of the agency is correctly pointing north. You're praying that their ad strategy and targeting strategy is working to bring engaged shoppers to your website. Dealers don't trust anyone. They inspect the numbers. They inspect their service department. They inspect their F&I office. They inspect their new and used car sales department, all by the numbers. Dealers need to be working with vendors that are giving them reports with actionable data that is not just about quantity metrics, but about quality metrics. So don't worry about the hype. Don't call the referral list of the dealers that they give you. You should be asking on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Dealer Refresh, in your 20 groups, hey, what's your experience with this company? Collect all that. Remember, you're always going to get some positive and some negatives. You'll need to weigh that. And then ask them to show you their monthly advertising reports. And if they're kind of vague, ask yourself this simple question when you look at the reports. What actions could I take based on these reports? If the answer is nothing, meaning these reports give me no insights on what's working, what's not working, what could be improved, what dollars could be moved around to sell more cars, then keep on looking until you find an agency who's providing you with actionable data. Doesn't matter how many companies are on the market, how many people call you a day, per week, or per month. Doesn't make a difference on how many people are trying to sell goods and services at national conferences. Dealers need actionable data and reports. They need partners that are going to help them sell more cars in the digital age. So don't get caught up in the hype. Make sure you have actionable data from your agency to help you optimize your marketing mix. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast, and stay tuned for future podcasts as we seek to discuss the most important topics confronting dealers in regards to their online marketing and sales process.